What's up, all my soul G's? Back with you for another episode of CGT Podcast. Today, um, we're going to be focusing on the Haiti gang rebellion, revolution. I really don't know what to call it, overthrow. Um, if you go back on my channel, I've been keeping up or trying to explain this Haiti situation for a while. It's like a lot of my channel is based off of trying to get people to see that, like, we have cultural differences, but a lot of the tactics that's being used to control people are the same. And one of the tactics in present time that we can really learn from is the Haiti situation. It's a very messed up situation, like in terms of like the exploitation, the fucking isolation, the like so many levels of just disappointment there. And I been meaning to get on this for a while. Obviously, I'm just now starting the podcast back up. But like I said, back in a couple videos that I did, I talked about the Haiti revolution, that stuff that was going on in Haiti around I think 2020, 2021, and that was very significant at that time. It's just crazy that I think I'm doing a video where I'm explaining this. Like I'm doing another podcast where I'm going back from the time I stopped doing the podcast in 2021 up to today and seeing like where things have changed. And in that video, I talked about how um, a lot of the stuff that was happening around 2020, 21 are in a way like still happening. There was no solution being brought up, and you're seeing these things that were suppressed in the news over time starting to boil back up around the same like time in the election cycle and all the other stuff. So it's just very interesting how that's the case. But we're gonna dive right into it. We got the Al Jazeera article up here to start it off. It says, "Overthrow the system," in quotes. Haiti gang leader Cherizer Cherizer seeks revolution. Jimmy Cherizer tells Al Jazeera it's not just people with guns who've damaged the country, but the politicians too. Mm. So let's go a little bit deeper into this article. A powerful Haitian gang leader has rejected attempts by foreign nations for an electoral road map and a path to peace as the country plunges deeper into violent chaos and armed groups control most of the capital following the resignation of Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Regional leaders of the Caribbean Community and Common Market held an emergency summit last week to discuss a framework for political transition, which the United States had urged to be expedited. As gangs wrought chaos in the capital, Port-au-Prince, amid repeatedly postponed elections. So they had chaos in the capital, which is Port-au-Prince, based off of this gang leader. That's what like the gang leader is basically saying, like, look, bro, like I'm only doing what I'm like based off the vibes I got so far. Because once again, when I'm doing these podcasts and like breaking down the information to you, I like to do it in a way where like we're seeing the information for the first time together, just so we can so you can see the process I have of breaking down this stuff, but also um to be slightly in the mindset that you're in when you're watching this video too, so that we can like break it down together and you can see where I'm coming from. It is not necessarily me watching these videos and reading these articles before and giving you my dissertation afterwards. I mean, if you want some channels like that, there's plenty of them like there. Plenty of them like there. Anyway, we're not going to recognize the decisions that CARICOM takes, Jimmy Barbecue Cherisier, a former police officer whose gang rules vast swaths of Port-au-Prince, told Al Jazeera. Rights groups have accused his gang alliance of committing atrocities, including killings and rapes. I'm going to say to the traditional politicians that are sitting down with CARICOM, since they went with their families abroad, We who stayed in Haiti have to take the decisions. Cherizer said, flanked by gang members wearing fake face masks, adding that he rejected plans for a traditional council made up of the country's political parties. It's not just people with guns who's damaged the country, but the politicians too, he added. The United States and the Caribbean nations have been pushing for the proposed council to appoint a new interim prime minister and lay a roadmap for elections, says Al Jazeera. Scherzer and his G9 family and allied gangs alliance have been major contributors to years of escalating violence and political instability in Port-au-Prince. They have a blockade fuel terminals. They have blockaded fuel terminals, clash with rival gangs, and use violence to cement their grip on areas under their control, forcing thousands of Haitians to flee their homes. Cheriziers, who is under sanctions from the United Nations. So a gang leader is under sanctions from the United Nations. What kind of tactic is that? I ain't never heard that tactic, but hey, maybe I'm just not familiar with it. Obviously, U.S. and other countries have been at the center of a new surge in unrest in Port-au-Prince as he calls for Henry's resignation. In early March, Cherizier, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, warned that Haiti faced the prospect of a civil war if Henry did not step down. It kind of seems like there's a civil war prospect already there. Like you didn't have to like threaten that or prophesy that. There have been a widespread there have been widespread looting and pitched street battles in Haiti following the resignation last week of the 74-year-old Henry, and no plan in place for what comes next. The U.S., which denied pressuring Henry to step aside, called for a political transition. They always call for that. So it's like maybe that's one of the reasons why the gang leaders and the gangs there are saying they don't trust it because they always see the U.S. trying to get involved and foreign countries trying to get involved. Haitian civil society leaders welcomed the resignation of Henry, an unelected leader who was named for the post in 2021, shortly before the assassination of President Jovenel Moise, as a long overdue step. The prime minister was supposed to step down in February. He was effectively locked out of the countryside since the unrest spiraled, landing in Puerto Rico after being denied entry into Dominican Republic, which shares the island of Hispaniola with Haiti. Call for revolution, while some political groups are putting their names forward for the council, seeing it as a way out of Haiti's current power vacuum. Cherizer said he wants a revolution. Now our fight will enter another phase to overthrow the whole system, the system that is 5% of people who control 95% of the country's wealth. Damn. This Al Jazeera, I don't know, bro. I ain't gonna say that. This Al Jazeera article making it seem like, bro, is like kind of, I don't want to say it. According to Robert Fatton, a Haiti expert at the University of Virginia, Scherzer likes to compare himself to historical figures like South Africa's Nelson Mandela and Cuba's longtime president Fidel Castro. While Scherzer has distributed some food and resources to people in areas under the control of his G9 gang, that's hardly a vision of the future or some sort of revolutionary act, he added. Okay, I think something like over 200,000 Haitians had to leave their houses. They had to move to really very poorly equipped camps. You have, in other words, a situation where the people who are suffering the most are very poor. The very poor that Barbecue says he wants to help. Mm. Well, that was the art. That's that Al Jazeera article. I guess we'll give it a little. Does it deserve that? We'll find out. With that being said, we're gonna go to this next video. So basically, this is a very up to date video on it. I think the revolution started in around early or late March, and obviously it's May now, so I'm kind of late on this. So I wanted to get like an up to date, up to date post on this pretty much, and this is from the YouTube channel called First Post. So we're gonna see what they got to say. It says Haiti. Gangs resume attacks days after.
And now for the latest in violence-plagued Haiti, criminal gangs have once again laid siege to the country's capital, Port-au-Prince. Now, this is one of the biggest attacks on the capital city since the Caribbean nation announced its next prime minister earlier this week. Neighborhoods located southwest of Haiti's main international airport were the worst affected where gang members burnt houses and exchanged gunfire with police for hours.
They were shooting very intensely with heavy weapons, so it is a hellish situation that we have been experiencing since last night in Delmas. They have been setting fire to things non-stop.
Now, following the fresh wave of violence, hundreds more fled their homes in Port-au-Prince. In fact, many were seen walking along the city streets, carrying their children in search of a safe haven. Some were also seen carrying essentials as they left their homes. Now, dozens of these families have sought refuge in already overcrowded shelters.
We experienced a very difficult night with a lot of shooting throughout the night, but our God still reigns.
The problem is that Haiti doesn't offer anything. It's just batons and bullets. That's what there is in Haiti for young people. Here near Champ de Mars, nobody can go there. Nobody can be free in this country. You can be kidnapped. The food is bad.
Now, according to reports, the new wave of violence erupted in the area controlled by powerful gang leader Jimmy Cherizier. He recently threatened violence if the gangs were ignored by the new government, as Cherizier demanded a seat at the table. Now, Cherizier is seen as the catalyst for the violence plaguing the nation. On February 29th, armed gangs burnt police stations, opened fire on the main international airport, and stormed the country's two largest prisons, releasing more than 4,000 inmates.
There are important areas. There are strategic places. We are fighting to reclaim so that they can become our territories, which will allow us to win the battle for the ousting of Prime Minister Ariel Henry as quickly as possible. And then we will begin the fight against the system in place to have the country we want, a Haiti with employment for all, a Haiti with security, a Haiti with free education, a Haiti without social discrimination, where all people can achieve the standing they want.
Now, I'm conflicted right now because he's not saying nothing crazy. And I mean, based off the article, and of course, you know, when revolutions and shit like this happen, especially if it's in a, like, what they call a gang, or what I would call, in this case, it looks more like a militia. Militias, you know, always have shit that go wrong. Armies, let me say this, armies, militias, anything like that, always have stuff that go wrong. So it's kind of like, if you were being a fair person, you hear what he got to say. This man ain't saying no crazy psychopath stuff. Does he really mean it? I can't tell that yet. But, shit, man. It's just, fuck.
Now, these coordinated attacks forced the former Prime Minister Ariel Henry to resign last month, following which a transitional council took over and put in place a new Prime Minister. Now, both Fritz Belazier, the new Prime Minister, and the transitional council face a daunting task ahead. of not just bringing stability to the crisis-ridden nation, but also reining in the gangs and putting an end to the violence. And as we're beginning to see, that task is far easier said than done. From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is...
Okay, so basically that was like a modest update. I thought it was, so basically the update on that, and as of today, from what we got, is that the special counsel actually figured out that, they found a prime minister. But I'm guessing that these gangs and that the barbecue charioteer guy, I'm guessing he's saying he just still want a seat at the table to secure whatever he's saying he wants, which is, equal right. Not equal rights, but more so like a fair chance at life, basically. And that could be taken in so many ways, honestly. Like, just being honest about it. Like, obviously we're gonna have to see how it's playing. Like this right here is not given necessarily like crisis. I take that back. It's a crisis because of the way they're doing it. It's fucking up a lot of shit that's already been fucked up, but it's making it a little bit worse. Not a little bit. It's making it worse. So that's the crisis aspect of it. But the other part of it, where it's like, okay, y'all got y'all prime minister. The gangs start back attacking days after the new prime minister and stuff. So that makes me think, does this guy even really have control of these people? Does he really even and if he don't, then why is the media presenting it as if he is like the leader? Like why are they presenting it as if there is a leader? Like, you feel what I'm saying? We're gonna find out. So okay, this is the news. I think this news story right here is going back to when the shit first popped off. I want to get more details on when it first popped off, I guess. Just to see
And in Haiti, where the government has declared a state of emergency as
just to see the intensity of the crisis when it first popped off.
Violence escalates. Armed gangs demanding the Prime Minister's resignation have attacked 2 prisons, allowing thousands of inmates to escape and leaving dozens dead and wounded. Violence has reached unprecedented levels since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse at his home in 2021. It's estimated that gangs now control as much as 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Our Prime Minister Ariel Henry travelled out of the country last week to try and drum up support for a multinational peace mission to bring this gang violence. He declared a state of emergency as violence escalates. Armed gangs demanding the Prime Minister's resignation have attacked 2 prisons, allowing thousands of inmates to escape and leaving dozens dead and wounded. Violence has reached unprecedented levels since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse at his home in 2021. It's estimated that gangs now control as much as 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Our Prime Minister Ariel Henry travelled out of the country last week to try and drum up support for a multinational peace mission to bring this gang violence under.
So that word, control. Can they say that these gangs are really controlling 80% of Port-au-Prince? What does that mean when they say they controlling 80%? Like, I'm just saying that from a person who studies these news stations and how they use words to propagate certain things. Once again, I'm not saying it's not a crisis, but even them saying control right there is fishy. Because to control it means you got some type of order there, and they don't got no type of order there.
Under control.
Armed gangs have set up roadblocks in many parts of the capital, Port-au-Prince, following an explosion of violence. Gunfire was reported in several neighborhoods. People drive and walk by bodies lying in the streets, some with their hands tied behind their backs. Police officers are among the dead, overwhelmed by coordinated attacks orchestrated by a former officer turned gang leader nicknamed Barbecue, who says he won't stop until Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry is gone.
We ask the Haitian National Police and the military to take responsibility and arrest Ariel Henry. Once again, we're not against the people. The armed groups are not your enemy. Arrest Ariel Henry for the country's liberation. These weapons that we have are not to hurt our brothers who come from the same milieu as we do. The poor, they trust us. These weapons are a symbol of freedom. With these weapons, we will liberate the country.
It's believed more than 3,500 prisoners fled into the general population when the gunmen stormed.
It's just suddenly very interesting to me. It's so interesting to me that Barbecue has such a great I don't want to say presence. It seems like Barbecue has such a good public relation. Like he has some type of PR training or something like that. Like the way he speaks to the public when he's on camera or when I'm seeing him, what they translate for them, for him to say whatever they translate, and when they translate and they saying what he say, supposedly is what I'm trying to say, I guess. He's saying some real revolutionary stuff in a certain aspect, So it's kind of like he has some type of PR training, and I mean that, I'm pondering, I'm taking a break from that just to process that. Like, I'm not trying to say, oh, you Haitian, you can't have PR training, that's ignorant. No, I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying for him to be presented as for this to be presented as a violent uprising, it seems as though, he's not just getting on camera and just being like, yeah, this is our land, blah, y'all come over here, blah, blah. He's not saying, he literally saying, the poor, it's on some real revolutionary jargon. So that's interesting to me. I mean, I don't want to be conspiratorial and cynical and say, that means that he's, paid opposition or controlled opposition too. But that is interesting. I mean, that can either mean that he's either controlled opposition, or that can either mean he's actually controlled opposition, or he's just very well put to be in his position. I hate to say, he's just, and there's obviously probably a third option, but I'm not thinking of that right now.
2 prisons, Haiti's main penitentiary in the capital and another in nearby Croix-des-Bouquets.
I've got to share this. Are you paying around $140 or more per month for car insurance? Let me show you how you could drop your rate down to just $45 per month while keeping the same level of coverage. Take a look.
Some inmates decided to stay in their cells, afraid of being caught in the crossfire. Others too old or disabled to flee. Prime Minister Henry was away, drumming up support for a multinational military mission to Haiti. Under a political deal, he was due to stand down last month, but planned elections were never held and he remains in power. Violence has reached unprecedented levels since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse at his home in 2021. It's estimated gangs now control as much as 80% of the capital.
Let's look at this with Robert Fatton Jr. He's a Julia A. Cooper Professor of Government and Foreign Affairs in the Department of Politics at the University of Virginia. His many publications include Haiti's Predatory Republic, The Unending Transition to Democracy, and Haiti Trapped in the Outer Periphery. Welcome to DW, Professor. Haiti now has a 72-hour state of emergency, but the government doesn't seem to be in control.
Yeah, the government hasn't been in control for a while, but the situation, I think, has deteriorated significantly over the past 48 hours. There is a situation of a total vacuum of institutional power. The prime minister, as you said, is out of the country, and it's getting very difficult for him to get back to Port-au-Prince because the airport itself is closed, and the situation on the ground is extremely violent, and the gangs have really accentuated their offensive against the current regime of Ariel Henry. And what is really worrisome is that most of the gangs, which tend to be divided, have united for the first time and are waging a campaign that is rather sophisticated, even using drones against key institutions of the country and key strategic infrastructure in the country. So we are virtually on the verge of a collapse.
So, Ariel Henry, the Prime Minister, in Kenya to discuss a Kenya-led multinational security force coming into Haiti. So many questions this throws up. The biggest one, of course, why...
Kenyan-led military intervention? Kenya? Hold on, bro. I'm missing something.
Isn't the Haitian army up to the task?
Well, the Haitian army was disbanded under former President Aristide, and it is trying to reconstitute itself. And actually today there was news that that reconstituted army, which is extremely weak and very poorly armed, is trying to get to the national airport in Port-au-Prince in order to prevent the collapse of that major infrastructure in the country. So it's difficult to tell whether the army can in fact...
Why would Aristide do that? Why did he disband the army? Why? Okay, I'm gonna pause this video because I got another one where a lady that I actually respect on this matter is going.
We begin today's show in Haiti, where fighting continues between.
A lady that I actually respect, I'm going to the history of this matter so that I can get a little bit more understanding because they just saying stuff and skipping over it on the regular news.
Between police and armed groups calling for the resignation of the unelected Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Over the weekend, police and palace guards worked to retake some streets in the capital, Port-au-Prince, after armed gangs launched large-scale attacks on at least three police stations. Haiti's been under a state of emergency for the past week, with tens of
Come on now.
this week, with tens of thousands displaced amidst the fighting. UN officials are warning Haiti's health system is nearing collapse due to shortages of staff, equipment, and other resources to treat a growing number of wounded patients. Meanwhile, the U.S. military said Sunday it conducted an overnight mission to airlift non-essential U.S. staff out of Haiti and to boost security at the U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince. Caribbean leaders issued a call late Friday for an emergency meeting today in Jamaica. They've invited the United States, France, Canada, the UN, and Brazil to the meeting. CARICOM, the 15-nation Caribbean bloc, said in a statement, quote, "The situation on the ground remains dire." Ariel Henry was appointed Prime Minister after the July 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. Henry still has not returned to Haiti after a trip to Kenya, where he was seeking a deal for a long-delayed UN-backed mission to Haiti. Kenya announced last year it would lead the force, but it has effectively been placed on hold. Henry arrived in Puerto Rico Tuesday after he was unable to land in the Dominican Republic, with the Dominican president saying Henry was not welcome in the country for safety reasons. For more, we're joined by Jemima Pierre, professor at the Social Justice Institute at the University of British Columbia in Canada and research associate at the University of Johannesburg. She's a Haitian-American scholar and co-coordinator of the Black Alliance for Peace's Haiti Americas team, which has been closely following the crisis in Haiti. Her recent article for NACLA is headlined, "Haiti as Empire's Laboratory." Professor Pierre, welcome to Democracy Now! Can you start off by describing what you understand is the latest on the ground, who the armed groups are, and the different sectors of Haitian society that are joining together with those armed gangs in calling for the resignation of the unelected Prime Minister, Henri?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, Amy. One of the things that we need to just start off with is just these are paramilitary forces. I think gangs is an insufficient name for them because a lot of them are former military and former police officers, and they're heavily armed. What's happening is a bunch of different groups coming together to.
I'm gonna let her cook, definitely. I mean, obviously, but that makes so much sense. And the news channels before never put those two pieces together. Like, they said that he disbanded the military and that the present military is weak, but he didn't say that the reason why. The motherfuckers, I mean, the people who working with barbecue supposedly are this ex-military people, most likely, and that's probably why they got so many guns. Because I was thinking that
to say, and they call themselves now Vive Ensemble, which is live together, a bunch of different various armed young men in groups to say that they want to get rid of Ariel Henry. Now we hear that there are negotiations happening around the clock, and apparently there's supposed to be negotiations going on today. I think in Jamaica or by the CARICOM countries that include the U.S., France, and Canada. The problem, though, is the fact that there are all these negotiations going on outside of Haiti by many foreigners with no main participation from the Haitian masses. And I think, we have to go back and understand that the root of this crisis is not last week, it's not this week, it's not even Ariel Henry, but we have to go back to 2004 with the coup d'etat.
So take us on that journey back. If you'll give us the historical context in your piece, it's headlined Haiti as Empire's Laboratory. In it you write, Haiti has been and continues to be the main laboratory for U.S. imperial machinations in the region and throughout the world. Explain.
Yes, definitely. We say that the crisis in Haiti is a crisis of imperialism. In 2004, as has been revealed and admitted to, the U.S., France, and Canada got together and backed a coup d'etat against the country's first democratically elected president, Jean-Bertrand Aristide. And the U.S. Marines flew into his home, put him on a plane with his security officials, his wife, and aide, and flew them to the Central African Republic. And people can actually go to the Democracy Now! Archives, which covered this live. And I remember listening to this happening live. And the point of this was that this coup d'etat, which was led by two permanent members of the UN Security Council, was then sanctioned by the UN when these same two members of the UN Security Council, that's US and France, basically pushed the UN Security Council into sending a multinational military force to Haiti, armed under Chapter 7 deployment. And that itself was illegal because the original coup d'etat was illegal. The US ambassador to Haiti and the deputy ambassador were in the
this is deep, bro, because what she's revealing about the UN is how messy it is, how sloppy it is. It's not really, it never can be as powerful as a sovereign government, quote unquote, because it's just not as organized, and people are coming from the sovereign governments to work for the UN. So, I guess at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that all those people out there who are relying on the UN in South Africa to be able to do something to help Palestine, it's not going to work. And even in this situation in Haiti is proof of that. It's just going to probably end up like Haiti if anything goes as the way they want. And the shit that's going on, the stuff that's going on in Haiti, obviously everything goes back to one event affecting another event, affecting another event. It's always going to be that. But that is significant, what she's saying. It's basically saying that, like, the first time they actually had a democratically elected president, they forced to do a coup d'etat there. And it's kind of the same. In Israel, they, like, today, they are offering peace settlement thing in Israel. Palestine and Hamas. Not, I'm sorry. Hamas offered a peace thing, a peace offering to Israel, saying like, "Hey, whatever you want, you can have it." They said no, no. We still want to just murder you. We're gonna take everything, and that's significant in this situation simply because that's basically what they been did to Haiti. They been said we're gonna take everything, and every time you try to fight back, and anytime you get to a point of actual progress, they gonna come fuck it up. So Israel and Palestine and everywhere in the world is gonna. You should expect that anywhere where there's a conflict, you should expect that. No matter who ends up, which side of the conflict ends up winning, if it's not fucking with the major power in the world, then you can expect there to be some type of coup d'etat in some way eventually.
Process. They're the ones that named who the interim president would be, put together a council of sages that basically restructured Haiti's elected president. And back then we had 7,000 elected officials. Today we have zero. And over time, I say Haiti has been under occupation because it is this military occupation, the minister occupation that went from 2004 to 2007 that established the core group that is an unelected group of Western officials, including Brazil, which led the military arm of the occupation in 2004 under Lula, which led then, which has been controlling all the actions in Haiti, down to naming who the prime minister would be, Ariel Henry, after the assassination of Jovenel Moïse. I have to quickly say, though, one of the key.
So why? I mean, obviously there has to be some type of economic or, probably some type of like, what do they call it? Agricultural benefit, maybe. I don't know, but why is all these other countries in on this stuff? And I mean, you can't say they're trying to help because they got stuff going on in their own country that they not dealing with. So you can't say they're trying to do no good. So it's not, you gotta understand it's not just America on this imperialism power grab. Whenever somebody is dealing with some or struggling with some in the world, they keep just saying it's China and Russia who just like help people out and have like have like hidden motives behind it. But it's really a lot of countries like that. A lot of there's few innocent countries in the world. Few innocent governments, I would say. And they all are under attack.
Things that happened is in 2010, after the earthquake in Haiti that killed hundreds of thousands, where the U.S. pushed the sitting president, René Preval, to have elections. And in the WikiLeaks papers revealed to us later that Hillary Clinton actually flew to Haiti and changed the election results, where Michel Martelly of the PHTK political party did not make the first round, but the U.S. forced the Haitian Election Council to actually put him in the second round. And
so once again, when crisis, I just said it, when crisis happened, like they had that earthquake, and she just explained the whole situation. I don't got to be rebutting it, but in that situation where they had, like Hillary Clinton did that, it's just another example of how, once again, these people are under attack, and it's like in subtle ways. Like you can have Hillary Clinton pull up to the country and she have like a positive image at that point, a little bit maybe, and where we from, but there they don't fuck with her at all. And the reason they don't is because of reasons like that. And we can't like ignore the cycle of hatred when it comes to places like Haiti, because like once again it's like, okay, you got people who naturally come up and like come to power from the citizens in that country saying, yeah, we like this person. And then you got the people who are paid by outside influences to not like that person. And then you got people who just naturally in that country who don't like that person. So outside of the people who naturally support the people, that leader in that country, aka Haiti from this example, you got two forces always going against that, unless the whatever force it is agreeing with America, or if America don't care about that situation, whatever specific situation it is, the scraps of that is left over to the countries that want whatever they can get from it.
Establishing the PhD Michel Martelly, a neo-devaluerist, as Haiti's president, with under 20% of people voting, with the largest political party in Haiti, La Balance, not being able to participate, we set the stage for what we see today. So by the time we get to Ariel Henry being imposed on the Haitian people by the core group, we have no elected officials because Michel Martelly, basically under him, we lost a lot of, we didn't have many elections, and then he put in his protege, Jovenel Moïse, who was also unpopular and didn't run any elections. So we actually haven't had any elections in Haiti since 2016 when Jovenel Moïse was selected for us by the core group. And so to understand what's going on in Haiti, we have to understand how the original moment of the 2004 coup d'etat led us to the complete destruction of the Haitian state. And if we don't do that, we don't understand these current flare-ups where people are saying they want their democracy back and saying that whatever negotiations that are happening outside of Haiti has nothing to do with them because it has not included them.
You know, when we went to the Central African Republic in a small plane with U.S. Congress member Maxine Waters and the late founder of Trans-Africa, Randall Robinson, and a Jamaican MP, we flew.
I can definitely say, without any doubt in my mind, like, and I don't want to be disrespectful, I love this lady, but like, she powerful. Dang.
To the Central African Republic, they went to retrieve the Aristides who've been put there by the United States. And as we were flying back over the Atlantic, they got word from that Rumsfeld, Condoleezza Rice, and Colin Powell were saying that the Aristides were not to return to this hemisphere, were not to return to Haiti, to which Randall Robinson replied, "Whose hemisphere?" And so he was not able to land in Haiti and went into exile in South Africa, where you have also taught for many years, for over 7 years. And then we went to South Africa when he finally returned to Haiti. And people can see all of those reports at democracynow.org. But I'm wondering, I wanted to talk about the latest news, the Miami Herald reporting that Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke by phone Thursday with Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry in a series of calls that officials described as tense. This is the U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller speaking Wednesday about the violence in Haiti.
As the situation on the ground grows increasingly dire, we in CARICOM have continued to call on stakeholders, including the Prime Minister, to make concessions in the interest of the Haitian people. So we are not calling on him or pushing for him to resign, but we are urging him to expedite the transition to an empowered and inclusive governance structure that will move with urgency to help the country prepare for a multinational security support mission to address the security situation and pave the way for free and fair elections.
But Jacqueline Charles, the Miami Herald reporter, said that the U.S. was pushing Ariel Henry to resign. What do you understand, Professor Pierre, about the latest? And also even where he is. Is he still in Puerto Rico, unable to get back to Haiti?
Yeah, he's in Puerto Rico under FBI's protection. He had to leave the hotel he was in when he first landed because Haitian people living in Puerto Rico were protesting his presence in the state, and so that's important. You know, the U.S. government is being extremely hypocritical here because in 2004, when the U.S. Marines landed at Aristide's house, put him on a plane and told the world that he resigned before the plane even landed in Central African Republic, and basically put in power a whole new government. And now they're saying that this unelected prime minister that they put in place refuses to resign, where he actually has no legitimacy and no mandate whatsoever. I also want to say quickly, just to touch back to the question earlier, is the reason I say Haiti's a laboratory, because this is the first coup d'etat that was sanctioned by the UN, and Haiti was ruled by a multilateral coalition of all these countries. And so the UN occupation of Haiti through UNICEF and through the core group is multinational, multiracial, and it almost seems as if this is a humanitarian effort as opposed to a coup d'etat that has been successful. And so the whole world is participating in the occupation of Haiti unwittingly because this is how we have to remember how the U.S. will work. And they will use their proxies to do the dirty work for them. And I want to say what's happening today on the ground with CARICOM is also a problem because back in 2004, P.J. Patterson, who was the president of CARICOM, was very much against the removal of Haiti's sitting president. In fact, he refused to acknowledge the imposed government that the U.S. put on us. But now CARICOM is playing a different role, where they're bringing the U.S., France, and Canada, the people who did the original sin, to pick our leaders again. And so the problem is, if this goes on, and if they don't take into account other solutions that Haitians have been putting together, in early 2021, you had La Famille Lavalas come up with Salut Public, which means that we need to start over and change the system. We had the Montana Accords. We have local groups that actually had a solution before the Moïse assassination. The U.S. government was trying to protect Moïse and basically ignored all these local solutions. And so now they cannot say that they're here to help Haiti as much as trying to figure out how to put in place another unpopular and illegal government. And so then we'll have the same problem a few years down the line. The other thing I want to quickly say, I know in a
She's spitting, and that's the truth of it. I mean, that's basically what's happening. That's the cycle of hatred going on right now, specifically with Haiti. This was released a month ago, so this was released before. I'm not sure if this was before. Yeah, it had to be still before. It was before the council had elected their new prime minister. Matter of fact, let me look that up. What's the new prime minister name? Let's see who the Haitian Prime Minister is. Michael Patrick Bozvert. Let me see what's up. The office was created. We don't care about the office. We want to know about Patrick. Let's see what his history is. Minister of Economy and Finance of Haiti. Has been appointed an interim prime minister. Haiti's new interim prime minister, Michael, holds a glass of the drink. I don't care what he holding. Is Haitian civil servant and politician who served as Minister of Economy and Finance since 2020. That's not long, and that's when the other guy, if I'm not mistaken, was already people was already voting against him because he was corrupt. So why would they put in the cabinets of Joseph, Jotham, Claude Joseph, and Ariel Henry, the three last people who got revolted against? That's terrible. You were horrible. That's horrible. That's a horrible decision.
Early is that the people funding these armed groups are the part of the oligarchy, and most of the guns and ammunition are coming from the U.S. People must remember that in the late 2022 and early 2023, the Canadian government sanctioned three of the richest oligarchs in Haiti. That's Gilbert Bijou, Renaud Deep, and Sharif Abdallah. The Canadian government also sanctioned former President Michel Martelly and Laurent Lamont, his prime minister, all of them because for drug trafficking, but also for funding these armed groups. And so in the news, you get these guys that look, like ragged and poor, but then the people really funding them, because Haiti does not manufacture guns, are these elites that are behind all the violence. And so I also want to put that into very clear context, so that we know that this is a very complex problem that's very much set up by the 2004 coup, but also perpetuated by the oligarch and the U.S., which work together to keep Haiti unstable, so that we can say Haiti's ungovernable and we need to come in and save it.
Can you explain who Guy Philippe is, who just left U.S. prison?
And the crazy part is, you could tell this person already, she sounds like she about to, cry. This, and it's the truth. That's why. It's because it's the truth.
In November, his role in the coup in 2004, and now what he's doing.
Right, and this is very important. Thank you for asking this, because Guy Philippe was around in 2004. In fact, Guy Philippe was trained by the U.S. in Ecuador and spent a lot of time living and training in the Dominican Republic. So in the lead up to the coup d'etat against Aristide in 2004, what you have is all the fall of 2003, what you had, Guy Philippe and his armed groups would ransack, would crossed into the border and ransacked and attacked police stations and so on and so forth. Back then, which is fascinating, if you look up in the news, the Western media portrayed him as a freedom fighter. He was a hero standing up against the evil Aristide, according to the West. And so they supported him. And he would say later that he was actually being funded by the CIA and so on. And then as soon as, what happens, once they remove Aristide, what you have is they tried to integrate these former armed military groups into the Haitian National Police because Aristide had disbanded the army. And so what you have is, that's why I say we have to call these paramilitaries, because these are former armed groups that actually were funded by outsiders to oust our democratically elected president. And here we are, Guy Philippe was arrested by the U.S. and put in prison for drug trafficking. And we have to understand this because even during his trial, there are certain things that were kept secret because it implicated the U.S. government. And so he served 6 years in prison as a criminal in the U.S. And now the U.S. dumped him in Haiti in November 2023. After serving 6 years of a 9-year term. And so now he's back running around saying he wants to be president. And he's getting, you say Haiti's, everyone pretends that, they are saying that Haiti's at war and so on and so forth. But the reality is, Guy Philippe is giving interviews to all the mainstream press. Guy Philippe gives more interviews than the local people who are organizing against repression. We don't hear them in the Washington Post, but we hear Guy Philippe. So I wonder what the U.S. role is for Guy Philippe right now. And as far as I'm concerned, he should be tried for treason because he was behind, he worked with the U.S. to actually remove our elected president. And so we have to be very careful about what the U.S. is bringing, what the mainstream media is bringing to us as real and as the situation, when we know the situation is actually very much controlled by the U.S. and the core group when it comes to Haiti.
And Charisier, known as Barbecue, the leader of one of the most powerful armed groups.
That's the part I've been wanting to get to. But so I think I heard about this guy recently, the Keefe guy, but yeah, that guy's wild. That's crazy. Like, how do you have the nerve to even come back, but like make it seem like you still got some pull? Like, the only reason you won't be able to come back is because you work for the U.S. and they prove they don't really care about these leaders that they choose. Like, they really only care about the results. If the people there want to revolt against you, they can't protect it. Why would they send their resources to protect you? That's stupid of them. They could just save the money, let the people shoot at each other for a while, then choose another person for them to hate for a couple years. This is the part I want to see what she has to say about the new guy, because the way he has to talk, it sounds like he is a U.S. puppet. Like,
explain his role right now and the alliance that has been formed between the armed groups, and also, really, is it true for the very first time, sort of forming an alliance with the elite as well, at least agreeing that Ariel Henry should be ousted?
Yes, apparently it seems like Charisier has joined in with all the other groups that they were in having trouble with. And so it is a combination of all kinds of groups that had worked against one another, that had fought against one another, and now they're coming together to get rid of Henri. And I think part of the problem is I think they're afraid of this.
True for the very first time, sort of forming an alliance with the elite as well, at least agreeing that Ariel Henry should be ousted.
Yes, apparently it seems like Charisier has joined in with all the other groups that they were in having trouble with. And so it is a combination of all kinds of groups that had worked against one another, that had fought against one another, and now they're coming together to get rid of Henri. And I think part of the problem is I think they're afraid of this supposedly Kenyan-led but U.S. push, Kenyan mission of 1,000 police officers coming in, another foreign invasion, and they're worried about their position in Haitian society. I do think the elite have to be brought into this, the oligarchs of Haiti that are funding this and supporting this, because this nonstop ammunition comes from somewhere. They're coming from these ports that are owned by the elites. And so there might be, we don't know who the machinations behind these gangs, who's paying for them, who, we know that they broke into the ports and emptied some containers. We don't know what they took, but we know that the ports are not owned by the people, they're owned by the oligarchs. And so what's going on in Haiti is actually very important, because I don't think it's a plan that the U.S. wanted, which is why they rushed Henri to Kenya to sign this bilateral agreement after the Kenyan courts said that it was unconstitutional for Kenya to send its police to Haiti. But I think things changed faster than they anticipated. And so now they're scrambling for a new plan in Haiti. And in the meantime, what's happening is our people that are the poor people on the ground are the ones suffering.
Well, Jimmy McPierre, we want to thank you so much for your analysis, professor at the Social Justice Institute at the University of British Columbia.
I mean, honestly, after her, I don't need to hear the other guy. Okay, but to wrap this up, after that, I mean, this right here don't even make sense. Like, I mean, that's pretty much the thing we need here. But I want to take y'all back to, let's see. Okay, we did the Haitian experiment. Yo, they got a whole documentary. Man, I wish I was live streaming right now. I would watch that shit with y'all, but I'm gonna have to do a whole separate. So I'm gonna have to do a whole separate reaction video to that. Either way, this is talking about the inmates they freed supposedly.
Do anything about the violence of the gangs. The police was the main coercive force of the government, but the police itself is extremely weak. It has been besieged by lack of weapons and also by a significant amount of corruption, and it's a small police given the population of the country. So most of the institutions that would keep things together are no longer in existence in Haiti, or they are on virtual state of collapse.
Okay. So, one of the leaders, one of the main leaders of this violence is actually a former police officer, this guy that's become known.
So it's like, their method is to like make the country tear itself apart bit by bit, simply by every time it tears itself apart, it forces it to stay at that standard of living in some type of sort. Or if it only gets better, it only gets a very tiny bit better until they obviously revolt again, simply because nothing is getting really better.
As barbecue. And as you were saying, so Haiti's armed groups have now united to say the Prime Minister must go. Should we look at this through the lens of politically motivated violence, therefore, or is this just criminal?
It is both, actually. It is criminal because the gangs have really done some really awful criminal things, killing people, ransoming people, kidnapping people, and also forcing a significant number of Haitians living in the poor areas of Port-au-Prince to exit their local site of inhabitants. It's something like 300,000 Haitians who have been marginalized and are now actually internal migrant, displaced migrant in Port-au-Prince itself. But there's a political reason for that, and the political reason is that the population at large, even the population that does not at all support the gangs, well, that population is, to put it crudely, fed up with the current situation and with the current regime. The current regime has been promising elections, a new constitution, order for the past 2 years, and it has absolutely failed to deliver on those promises. So there is a political sentiment among the vast majority of Haiti that the situation is no longer tenable. And most people in Haiti would like to see that regime, the current government, gone.
Okay, so following on from that then, as far as you're aware, is there a plan for what happens after, I should say if I suppose, but after peace is restored? Because the country was desperately poor and failing, even before all this happened.
Well, there is no...
I can't finish this. The way they presenting it is just like so lazy. Trying to talk about they lazy, like, because y'all been invading them nonstop and extracting their resources. That's why. Not y'all, but I don't know what country he from. I don't know what country he. I'm guessing he in America, but that's what I'm saying. Y'all should. That's exactly what I'm saying. Y'all. The last video is basically like, I think this video is from a year ago. And I'm playing this video because I want to see what it was like there before the rebellion started. Then after that,
AK-47 tell us to get out of the car now.
And they just came out and pointed guns at us, and they said they're going to arrest you.
These are some of the roughest streets I've ever seen. What is this place?
This area here have been claimed by gang members.
We just stopped at a petrol station. It's absolute mayhem.
I'm trying to see where he's pointing the guns. I can't see it.
hold on. I don't know why it's doing that. I exited everything out already. All right, let me fresh it on up.
Shopify has everything you need to grow your retail business, like fast and secure checkout, reliable card readers, and one place to track all your in-store and online sales. Start your free trial today at www.shopify.
Soldiers run out with AK-47, tell us to get out of the car now.
And they just came out and pointed guns at us and they said they're going to arrest you.
These are some of the roughest streets I've ever seen. What is this place?
This area here have been claimed by gang members.
We just stopped at a petrol station. It's absolute mayhem.
I'm trying to see where he's pointing the gun. I can't see.
This is like an accident waiting to happen. Police are over here with massive machine guns.
This is what they did. They bust all the gallons, but they feel their own gun.
Police come and sabotage other people getting petrol, but they take it to themselves.
Exactly.
All these books and the posters are all publications that you've been featured in.
Everywhere I am.
There's a guy walking down the street with no pants, no underwear, and just a
Alright, I'm gonna just try to start over, see if that helps. I gotta be that high right now.
Here have been claimed by gang members.
We just stopped at a petrol station. It's absolute mayhem.
I'm trying to see where he's pointing the gun. I can't see.
This is like an accident waiting to happen. Police are over here with massive machine guns.
The police, what they did, they bust all the gallons, but they feel their own gallons and left.
So the police come and sabotage other people getting petrol, but they take it to themselves.
Exactly.
All these books and the posters are all publications that you've been featured in.
Everywhere I am.
There's a guy walking down the street with no pants, no underwear, just a shirt.
Kids, a student, and then still go to the school, and then after that, someone is coming with a shotgun and give the kids.
Really?
It's very dangerous.
This area is already claimed by a gang member. We are right in it.
A woman that you knew warned you and said, just be careful because there's a lot of kidnapping around here.
Yeah, it's like a tank bulldozer, right?
Yep, that will demolish your house. Where do those people find the money in a poor country like that to build those massive housing?
And where would you say that they find the money?
Corruptions and drugs. This is actually the war zone area.
So we're in a war zone right now?
Yeah, we're in a war zone. Everyone that is working in this area, they're going to quickly pass. They're shooting from up, down there to up there. Because that is going through that way as well, you can get shot.
So we're not going forward?
We are.
Haiti, the poorest country in all of the Americas, a country that has faced constant struggle, from earthquakes
7.3 magnitude earthquake, 220,000 people killed.
to gang wars.
Gang war rages on in the capital city of Port-au-Prince. Kidnappings.
So we're not going through there. We are. It's like some training day type shit. Like, it's giving training day Haiti vibes. Like, what the
and killings getting even worse throughout the country.
Armed violence has reached unimaginable and intolerable levels.
Countless kidnappings.
The country's most powerful gangs is believed to be behind the kidnapping of 17 missionaries.
This has become daily life. Tires burning on city streets, protesters furious at the government's inability to confront kidnappers.
Corruption. And untold poverty.
These are amongst the poorest people in the world.
With an average salary of less than $3.50 a day. The situation has become so desperate that there is currently a mass exodus from the country.
200 migrants stopped at sea.
Deep in the jungle in Panama, parents clinging to their children, bracing for the hundreds of miles ahead.
More than a dozen Haitian migrants are dead after the boat they were on capsized.
Millions of people fleeing, risking their lives for the chance of a better one. So what is this notoriously dangerous country like on the ground? Well, I guess we'll just have to jump on a plane if we want the answer to that one.
And terror echoing in the streets of Haiti.
What is this place? This is actually a war zone.
Guys with guns everywhere.
These are some of the roughest streets I've ever seen.
And they said they're going to arrest.
Dark things happen here. If you saw the last video, you would have seen that on the way back from what's known as Cité du Soleil, Sun City, which is rated as the most dangerous place in the world. I witnessed something that I never thought I would see in my lifetime. We did witness a kidnapping. Today, we're going into another part of the city. We're going to see the downtown area, which I've been told by my guy on the ground here that it's like a war zone, basically. Many people have fled from that region because of gang rival fighting. We're going to go in there today and see what it's like. We could get caught up in some fight.
Yo, I know people love YouTube worldwide, but how does he be getting these connects on these videos? Like, who's the plug? Like, how did he get these tour guides for these cities? Like, this man be going to hell and having, like, a tour guide demon or some shit. Like, what? The most fucked up places. Some of them. Besides America. And this nigga just got a tour guide. Like, yeah, we're just gonna take it. Like, yeah, stay away from over here. Like, what?
And things, but, you know, we're going to go with our heads down. The guy I'm with, Sean, he really knows what he's doing in the city. Let's go for another day in Haiti here. It never ceases to amaze this place.
Ali, right there.
Okay, so Sean's just picked me up. We're heading downtown, but he was a bit delayed because this morning a bunch of motorbike taxi guys went around in protest of the fuel situation here. So basically, fuel is instantly sold to the black market and doesn't go to the petrol station, so people are struggling to get fuel. So what these taxi motorbike drivers were doing, they were going around, and people that are selling the petrol on the side of the road, they were going around and stabbing it with knives so it leaks out, and protest of saying stop selling petrol in the black market and sell it in the petrol stations at a reasonable price.
Pretty crazy, yeah, Sean? Oh, it is. That's basically what's happening. And I like the movement, what they're doing, the protestation, because what happened, they will sell the gas at gas stations. Those gas stations will sell it to those guys, and then they will sell it on the streets for 3 times the amount of the actual price. So those motorcycles decided to go around and just stop stabbing those gallons that they find on the street, anywhere that they can find them. Even if they are behind a big pickup truck, they will stop it.
Just off to the petrol station, it's absolute mayhem. Have a look. This is insane. People are fighting, shouting at each other. People are just shouting at each other. It's chaos here. People throwing around big containers trying to get petrol.
These are all the motorbike taxi guys we were just talking about.
Yes, that is them, but still, some of them still have gallons in the back.
Okay. So the containers on the back, they're trying to come fill up.
Yep. Wow.
So this protest just erupted this morning. Sean lives close to my hotel. Probably 5 minutes drive. It took him 40 minutes to get there.
No petrol? The reason why he brought his gallon is because the gas station is only providing in the gallon. They're not giving the motorcycles actually.
So they won't put it in their motorbike directly, only in the containers. Okay.
So this is what we call the black market. That's how it's actually working.
They're throwing containers. Look, there's petrol flying around. This is nuts. And you can't make out what's happening. They've got the petrol pump dangling down and people are fighting to grab the petrol pump. How do they pay for this? Is this free?
No, it's not free at all. They have to pay for it. But they have to, those who getting it by the gallon have to pay a little bit extra. So they pay more.
But who are they paying? Because it's absolute chaos here.
Well, the guy who's holding that too.
And he's just getting money?
Yeah, he's only getting money. I'm trying to see where he's holding the guy. I can't see.
Oh, there's a full fight happening.
it's just hilarious because they just staring at him like everybody just staring. Concentrate fire on the target.
This is like an accident waiting to happen, right? It's an accident waiting to happen. It's petrol going everywhere. Oh, he's like against the prime minister that put the country in the situation that it is right now. They believe that the prime minister who is now in place was in a plot to assassinate the president who died recently last year. And he's the one who put the country in the situation that it is today.
Do you have a message you want to say to him right now?
Message pour Ariel. Oui, Ariel. Pour vous gens pour nous Gaza parce que c'est à Gaza nous parce que les quoi nous va qui ça nous fait. Nous sommes un problème nous notre goût. Pour libérer pays état pays là. This is too much. They can't continue anymore. That the price of everything is rising up, and he wants that Ariel find a way that he can lower the product and we can find the gas, so that he's a motorcycle taxi driver, so that he can find money that he can continue supporting his family. I asked him, well, you guys started a protestation where you're starting all the gallons, but you still have your gallons as a motorcycle guy.
Right.
He said, well, that's the only way I can find the gas.
Right, so he doesn't like how it is, but he has to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. That's it.
All right.
So the guy taking the money just has a massive bag on the front full of cash and change, and he's in charge of taking and receiving the money and getting paid. I do not envy that guy's job. He's just getting shouted at, grabbed. The police are over here with massive machine guns. So what are the police doing here?
They're getting inside by even getting all the gallons as well.
So the police are buying petrol?
They're all buying petrol and gallons, just like everyone is doing. If you can look at that, it's like everyone is buying gallons, getting all the water. See that? This is the police. They have access because you're the police.
Right.
Yeah.
So the police get to go to the front of the line?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then now they left, it's going to be a chaos because there's no police officers around.
So the police don't even want to see any part of this, they go and get out of it?
They just left.
Okay.
This is a total corruption that is happening in this country. It's messed up.
I'm over here thinking the police is there to maintain the order. These niggas just there to get gas themselves, bro. Like, what?
Des pays, on se pays, nous pas vivre comme ça. On haïtien, nous pas vivre comme ça. Parce que nous grand monde font des sans responsabilité. The country is not functioning, and that all those authorities that are in power right now need to leave the country and leave power because life is becoming too expensive, and he wants them to leave because the prime minister has been in power for about a year, and then nothing is functioning in this country. That's what he's saying.
So they've just shut off the petrol now.
They just shut off the petrol once the police left. Vous venez crever également les réseaux. Vous n'y allez là. Vous jouez maillot bien plein bagaille pour y aller. Vous mettez la machine. Vous pétez tout également les réseaux. Vous n'y allez là nous-mêmes qui investigons pour mettre la machine pour nous galaille. Vous empêchez nous faire nous crever également pour nous bien plein la machine ou à la veine. Police fait ça. So the police what they did, they bought all the gallons, but they filled their own gallons and left.
So the police come and sabotage other people getting petrol, but they take it for themselves.
Exactly.
Everybody's leaving now because they've shut off the pumps. The police show up, apparently what we've been told. The police stab the other guy's petrol and they take the petrol for themselves and then the pumps are shut down. Cannot believe it. Because the police are supposed to be here to protect and help people.
Exactly. They should be here to protect and to give security to the gas station people. But they're not doing it. They took their own gas and then left.
And that's not just this chaos and like there could be a huge riot right now.
Exactly.
There's nobody here to like help.
Another slum area. On this gas station right now.
We should probably leave if it's going to explode, no? So people just kept coming up to me and wanting to shout at the camera and just tell basically how much of a state the country is in.
Wow.
Where are we heading now, Sean?
We are going downtown area around Bele, one of the another slum area. We'll see if we can get through.
There's a full-blown war going on there and it's been going on for a month and so they're not picking up their phone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened. So I will go down there, I know where to find them and we'll see what we can find.
Hey Sean, so these are some of the roughest streets I've ever seen. What is this place?
This area here have been claimed by gang members. This is actually a war zone, and up there, we're going to take a quick look.
Man, this feels really bad here, man.
Oh yeah, this is the cathedral which was damaged by the hurricane in 2010. In this area, right here, this is actually the war zone area here.
So we're in a war zone right now?
Yeah, we're in a war zone. See, there is no one. This street right here, this long street right now, you have a group down there that's called G9 that's controlling the area, and then up there is JPIP. So as you can see, everyone that is working in this area.
So G9 is the group that they were saying barbecue was in control of, I think.
Yeah, they're gonna quickly pass. Like, look at him. He's gonna quickly try to pass. So because he's looking down, see? Look at that. He's looking up and looking down, and he's trying to get away as fast as possible that he didn't go. Because they're shooting from down there to up there.
Right.
So any person that is going that detects as a threat, they will shoot at you.
So
any car that is going through that way as well, he can get shot.
So we're not going forward?
We are.
No.
Yeah. We are.
He's here.
We in.
Oh my god.
And there as well. That's another part.
And you're not worried here?
Back up.
Let's go. You have contacts in this neighborhood?
Yes. I tried to call them. They've been in war for this month.
Right.
And now I can't even reach them on the phone.
Yeah.
My friend, what?
To drive quickly across that road so we don't get shot at. Oh, man, this is a lot.
Bruh, like, the mind state this man gotta be in, like, he got a little grin on his face and everything, like, it's funny to him that bruh is even reacting like that. Like, cause this is normal to him. Like, when he's saying, like, by words, it is a war zone, but it's like, it's safe. He knows it's safe now or during certain parts of the day. He knows the ins and outs of that shit. So he know, not to say it's imperfect, I mean, that it's a, like, it can't go wrong, basically, but the way this man next to him like he about to poop his pants is cool.
It's crazy.
I recently saw a clip right at this park here where there was a shooting and people were just running everywhere.
Rare footage now showing the moment crowds run for cover, fleeing as heavy gunfire rings out near a park. Suspected rival gang members setting a cathedral on fire as they fight to take control of more territory.
This is our Supreme Court right here.
Supreme Court.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court is right in the middle of this battle zone here.
Yes, and this whole area, they're going to build what you call administrative city. So most of the government buildings will be building here. They started here already. The palace used to be right up front, but it was damaged by the earthquake in 2010. They haven't rebuilt it yet. This tower is called Tower of 2004, which was built to commemorate 200 years of freedom from the French.
What is that massive bulldozer?
This here is Haitian army.
That's an armored bulldozer.
Yep.
It's like a tank bulldozer, right?
Yep. That will demolish your house. I think they made that themselves. This is local.
Yeah. I can see that that's a homemade job, yeah.
Oh, real shit about to pop off.
Something insane just happened. Filming that big like tank bulldozer thing. Soldiers run out with AK-47, tell us to get out of the car now. We have to jump out of the car. They start questioning us like quite aggressively. They're like,
This man just looked like completely unhealthy being in this environment. I'm concerned for him, honestly.
they're like, who is this guy? You know, to Sean, and Sean's like, well, he's a journalist. And they were like, well, where's his passport and things? Where's his stuff? Give me his credentials. I was saying, you know, I don't carry that around because if my bag gets stolen, you know, like look where we are, you know, who knows what can happen. My bag gets stolen. Maybe I lose my camera gear, but I don't want my like documentation and my passport to be stolen, right? So he's like, no, if he doesn't have his passport, we're going to arrest him. They were like, he's arrested, he's illegal. And he was fully convinced, and in my mind I was like, well, I guess I'm going to a Haitian prison right now. And I just kind of like made peace with the fact. Of course, I was full of adrenaline.
So Sean, what exactly just happened?
Oh, you almost got arrested. That's what happened. So we actually went to the army base, around the base, so we were filming, what do you call what they had? A big tank? A bulldozer, big tank. And we were just filming it, and they just came out and pointed guns at us, and it's like, stop the car. So I had to raise my hands. I don't have a weapon, just calm them down. And then they decide to search in the car if there was any guns or any ammunition and stuff. And I represent myself as a journalist. So they saw my card, and then they were like, okay, give me the car paper and the registration and your license. Give it to them, everything was okay. And then they asked you for your papers. And then you didn't have it, and then they said you have them in your phone, but which was not accepted. And they said they're going to arrest you. Everything that they find said, I'm going to arrest him. I said, no, you can't arrest him. I'm going to States, I'm going to Bel Air. What if they take the passport, his passport, and took all his belongings? Now he's going to travel back to the UK again. And then they said, okay, all right, we'll let him go.
Because it was like, he looked fully convinced there's no way I was leaving there.
No, you were not going to leave, so I had to convince him in some kind of way.
And then that was right next to that big tank bulldozer thing. There's the military there. That's the central government district right there. And just behind it was that street that we had to drive through and not get shot really quickly. And then that's right next to where that's happening. This country is beyond any kind of comprehension.
Many scenes on the news show people burning tires and throwing them in the middle of the street in protest. Is this the area where that happens?
They do not protest in this area. They will do the protestation up where the government buildings are located.
So where I almost got arrested.
Yeah, exactly. Even though there is gun activities in this area, there won't be no gun battle around this area. This here is where I come and fix my car. And also, many of the gang members used to be mechanics, and they used to work here, making a living. And then afterwards, integrating the gang activity, and they protect this area.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that for sure because this is where I come all the time to come and fix my car.
So this is right in the middle, so...
This is right in the middle of the city. This is what you call Grand Rue.
Okay.
Yeah.
The avenue.
Yeah, the avenue, yeah.
Right. Kind of what I've noticed with the other neighborhoods as well, the gang neighborhoods, is that if you're right in the middle, it's a lot more stable, but when you get to the outskirts is where the disputed territory is, right?
Yeah, exactly. See, this area is already claimed by a gang member, so it stays safe. We are right in it.
But on the periphery, on the outskirts.
That's where most of the danger is. Because anyone that is coming, they take you as a threat.
To get in and out of this so-called safe place, you have to drive through those spaces.
Yes, exactly.
We almost got arrested!
There was thing in there that I could show you. Let's go check it really fast.
Okay, what is it?
All the tires that they will find on the streets, the piece of metal that they will find, and they create art with it. It's mostly the ghetto boys to prevent them from staying in the streets and become a gang member. And this is one of my friends, Haitian. This is what he's creating for the young boys rising in the ghetto.
To stop them getting into crime.
Exactly.
Just hopped out of the car and the guy walking down the street with no pants, no underwear, and just a shirt.
Make it a quick visit then, right?
Quick visit.
Yeah. Okay.
How's everything?
Is this your friend here?
Yeah.
That's my friend, yeah.
Okay, so we've come into this beautiful workshop you have here, and your name is Andre Eugene.
Yes.
And so can you just explain a bit about what you do in the community, because I've heard it's quite positive, right?
Yes, kids, a student, and then still go to the school, and then after that, someone is coming with the shotgun, give the kids.
Really?
It's very dangerous, like gangster. And then I'm teaching the kids for free. For example, you see this one, that's it, rather.
Okay, this is from car tires.
Yeah, when they sell them, pay the school, pay the food, pay everything is more important. Sometimes I'm traveling also with some kids.
Right.
Last time I was in Copenhagen.
Okay, so you've traveled the world, right?
So Australia is the last year.
You were last year in Australia?
This year I was in Kassel.
Germany.
In Germany.
You're obviously an educated man, and you've traveled the world and things. So how would you describe the current state of Haiti?
Good energy, positive energy. Also you can find some bad thing also. All of them, the world is the same thing. It's the same thing everywhere, New York, whatever.
So you look at the positives of the country. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Of course.
So you're happy in Haiti?
Not so far, not so good.
Here is a statue of Osama bin Laden here. And there's just so many statues here, all recycled material.
30 years of work he's been doing this, and there's a skull out there, and there's a human skull, and you've seen the big piles of rubbish. A lot of those actually have human bodies in them because of the fighting and the gang war. He goes through, looks through the trash, he'll find dead bodies, use the skulls from them. A lot of these pieces are related to voodoo, so one of the main religions here in Haiti. Super intense, but incredible to see such a display of years of hard work.
What do you do after the movie? What are you going to do? You have to just...
It's
the freelance or?
Yeah, freelance, yeah. I make little videos and I put them on the internet, and then, people look at them and see what's going on in these countries, because something like Haiti has such a crazy reputation, right? And so it's interesting, I think, for behind the headlines.
The best way to see something.
Yeah, like on the ground, like meeting people like you. All these books and the posters are all publications that you've been featured in.
Really where I am.
That's you. And what year was that photo taken?
Like 2012. You see the freezer.
What's been your favorite country that you visited?
Too much one.
Right.
Because I'm thinking, you know Liverpool?
Yeah.
That's my favorite one. Also Scotland.
Okay, you like Liverpool and Scotland.
Okay, bro, right there was chill as hell.
Heard here, Sean, is a more expensive kind of area of the city for real estate?
Yes, this is residential area. That's where you will find most beautiful houses. It's mostly people with money, politicians, some drug dealers as well. You can't afraid to say that.
On the way here, there was some police officers doing some, just random checks. And one of them saw me in the front, so they stopped the car, and the guy said directly to me in English, "Is everything okay, sir?" Because I think he thought that Sean might have been kidnapping me, right?
Yeah, he thought that you were kidnapped. He was looking at me and said, "Stop." And then he didn't ask me any questions, and he went straight forward to me. He's like, "Are you okay, sir?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes, it's okay."
But this is like a gated community then, because there's two guys with shotguns. We just drove through the gate. These are massive walls, so you can't even see the houses because it's so private, right?
You won't hear any crime or any gang activities around this area. It is well protected.
These houses will have amazing views, right? You can see the Caribbean out there.
Where do those people find the money in a poor country like that to build those massive houses?
And where would you say that they find the money?
Corruptions and drugs. That's exactly what it is.
Even the roads here are so much better than the rest of the city, There's no trash.
Oh no, you won't find no trash around this area. I mean, this is a rich area. So it's realistic, yeah.
So the government put in the infrastructure, they clean up the trash and they fix the roads in this neighborhood, but the rest, many other parts of the city.
You have to understand, those people who own those houses are government officials and drug dealers. So they make sure that the area where they are living are quite clean, while the rest of the country is full with rubbish, piles of rubbish everywhere. It's crazy. There is no words to describe what I'm seeing.
We just came up to this beautiful hotel here. We're going to have a look over the view that it has, but it's boarded up, it's closed, and you say, Sean, that's because...
They have no clients because of the tourists are no longer coming.
Because they're too scared.
They're too scared because of the insecurity of the rival gang fighting every day, so that causes that tourists doesn't travel to Port-au-Prince.
Where do you see Port-au-Prince and Haiti in the next 5 years?
It will probably be worse if the government doesn't take at hand the responsibilities to put an end to that insecurity and food crisis in this country. I mean, if they don't do anything, the only hope that we have is the UN to come back. The way I'm seeing it, with the Haitian government, the country ain't going nowhere. The only support that we can get right now that maybe help Haiti to recover from all those problems, another occupation, the UN, the international community. We can't depend on the government. They're too corrupt. They are involved in providing those gangs with guns.
So the government's giving guns to the gangs?
Oh yes.
And that's well documented?
I know that for sure. Right. I remember doing research from back in 2006. And then I'm meeting with a lot of gang members and I ask them, where do you find those guns? And they will tell me, you went to Cité Soleil, right? Mm-hmm. That's Shanty Town. The people don't even have water to drink. But they have those big AK-47, those big guns that they have.
So they can't afford food, but somehow they have these really
expensive weapons. Yeah. They don't buy it with their own money. Somehow someone bring it to them. And who have access to bring guns in the country? Haiti doesn't manufacture guns, not even bullets. Yet you see them more than you will find food in the hands of those poor people.
Do you think what you're saying is the opinion of many Haitian people?
Yes, and even we met with some gang members in Switzerland. They themselves think that would be the best solution right now. It's the arrival of the UN back into the country.
And if they don't come, what's going to happen?
Well, the country is going down the pit, down. It's already hell.
It's already in the pit, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to keep going.
It's going to keep going worse.
Yeah, more kidnappings.
Yes, there are so many kidnappings.
Man, so they have destroyed this country so much that the faith in the people is that they can't even get back to a democratic status without the UN coming in. And when the UN came in last time, it was trash. But even that is better than what they have now, in their opinion. That's fucking crazy, bro. That's tough, bro. But with that being said, this has been CGT Podcast. Appreciate y'all for sticking around to the end. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share this video. You can get people a collective of information about Haiti, and then spread it some more shit, just so people can understand the truth and the facts about what's going on there. But yeah, bro.